Prime Minister Dalton Tangelangi joins Pacific Island leaders at the Honiara summit in Solomon Islands. The Department of Education and Principal of Niue High School front questions from parents on the teacher shortage. And a senior meteorological engineer from Japan is on the island to survey the installation of a new weather forecasting satellite. Howhiowi atu e tau whakaalofa ki he mga hoa whiawhia nei. Welcome to BCN News. Leading our news tonight, Prime Minister Dalton Tangelangi and Minister for Natural Resources Mona Ainu joined Pacific Island leaders in Solomon Islands this week for the Honiara summit. The 4-day event aims to address the sustainable use of marine resources, including tuna fisheries, with mounting concerns of climate change impacts and overfishing on supply in the Pacific. BCN News caught up with Minister Ainu ahead of the event.
The 2025 Honiara Summit will focus on meaningful action and innovation towards achieving SDG 14, Life Below Water, with a dedicated focus on the conservation and sustainable use of oceans, seas and marine resources for our sustainable development.
The Honiara Summit, I guess, is based also on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 14. So SDG 14 is life underwater, and it's looking at conservation, looking at marine resources, and these are some of the areas that will be discussed. As Minister for Fisheries, obviously I'll be talking about what is happening within the fisheries component of the regional collaboration, and then Prime Minister obviously will be talking about the international affairs and the impacts and whatever is available within the collaboration with our international partners.
In his keynote address on Tuesday, Prime Minister Dalton Tangelangi reaffirmed our collective responsibility to safeguard the science and health of the ocean. He spoke on challenges such as illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing, climate change and marine pollution that continues to pose significant threats.
The Honiara Summit, I'm really hoping that we can, create some fantastic benefits from, for our people. I talked earlier on about SPC and stuff, but at the end of the day, if we can, achieve some benefits for our people, but I'm also talking about the impacts on climate change on small island states. So this is one of the things that we will be talking about, but for me, I'll be talking fish, and how that is going forecasting to the future.
The 4-day event ends today and is jointly hosted by the Government of Solomon Islands and the Pacific Islands Forum Fisheries Agencies in close collaboration with the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization and the UN Secretary General's Special Envoy for the Ocean, Ambassador Peter Thompson. Mersatakala, BCN News.
Honourable Crosley Tātui will be the acting Prime Minister until the 7th of March, with Prime Minister Dalton Tangelangi abroad for the next 2 weeks. Other ministerial movements will see Member Assisting Minister and Member for Tamakautonga Village, Mr Ricky Makani, as the acting Minister for Central Agencies and Commercial Agencies. Common Role Member of Niue Assembly Mr Emani Whakaosimanava-Lui is the temporary Minister for the Ministry of Natural Resources. And Member for Mutalau Village Mrs Florence Maureen Melekitama will be the acting Minister for the Ministry of Social Services until tomorrow. Parents of Niue High School students were given an opportunity to share their concerns on the school's teacher shortage in a meeting last week facilitated by the Parent Teachers Association. Around 50 parents were present at the meeting held at Niue High School as they put questions to the Minister for Education, Sonia Tālangi, Director for Education, Natasha Toiono Tohovaka, and the school's principal, Charles Iowane, on the progress to fill the 11 vacant teacher positions. Iowane said the school had managed to secure one new specialist teacher who is due to arrive this month, but the school was still in the process to recruit 10 specialist teachers. It comes after last year's NCEA results revealed a drop in student level achievement across levels 1, 2 and 3. The school says while the results were a first for Niue, the teacher shortage wasn't solely to blame. The school attributed the decline to a combination of factors including high truancy rates. An asbestos removal expert is urging Niue to consider unused land as a cost-effective alternative for asbestos disposal. Niue currently ships and transports its asbestos and hazardous materials to New Zealand. What Dirk Catterall from Moorcroft Asbestos Removal says comes at a hefty cost. Last week, he visited the island to help lead a team of locals to package and wrap 2 container loads of asbestos waste for removal to New Zealand as part of the Niue Asbestos project.
It's very expensive freighting to Auckland, unfortunately. So it's costing about $100,000 in all, including the containers, the disposal, the freight, the training. What would be good is if Niue had its own little landfill where it could bury asbestos, because when asbestos is underground, it's very safe. It doesn't leach. It's out of mind, out of sight.
Catterall identified areas like the eastern end of the airport runway adjacent to Niue International Airport as suitable sites for asbestos waste burial.
If that could be managed in that space, the $100,000 that we're spending today would dispose of 2 or 3 times the amount of asbestos that we can do by freighting it overseas.
Niue's director for the Department of Environment, Hayden Talangi, said while they acknowledged the advice, the department maintained the position of the government of Niue following Cyclone Heta in 2004 that all legacy asbestos be removed off Niue. Talangi said a cheaper option was not its priority, but ensuring that future generations did not have to take responsibility for the waste. Niue also had limited land space and asbestos posed long-term risk if buried. The two containers will be transported on this week's shipment. A senior meteorological engineer for the Japan International Cooperation Agency, or JICA, is on the island this week working alongside the Niue Met Service to survey the installation of the Himawari cast system. Hirouki Ichijo says the new satellite system will assist Niue Met Service with high-resolution satellite imagery for weather forecasting, including cyclones. Here's Mere Satakala with more.
With over 34 years of experience working in the meteorological department in Japan, Hiroyuki Ichicho's work involves surveying the installation of the Himawari cast system in the Pacific, Asia, and African region. The Himawari cast system is a data reception system that receives and processes images from the Himawari 8 and Himawari 9 satellites. The system is used for weather analysis, forecasting, and disaster prevention.
Himawari is a meteorological satellite promoted by Japan. Yeah. So technical research and interview with forecasters is this duty.
He hopes in the near future, with the installation of this system, Niue will be able to map their own weather details with disaster monitoring and high-quality images delivered at regular intervals and broadcast real-time weather data.
The situation is a little bit limited. The regional center, meteorological center, Fiji issued a broadcast and warning. Yeah, so they are kind of the copy, but a little bit customized themselves. But we hope in very, very near future, they issued their own forecast and alert for the Niue.
The installation of the satellite system is expected to be done in 2 years' time. The project is funded by JICA under the Weather Ready Pacific program. Mere Satakala, BCN News.
Last Thursday's Awareness Dialogue was an opportunity to raise awareness of Niue's United Nations Convention Against Corruption, or UNCAC, review findings. Here's more on this story.
The Awareness Dialogue was also an opportunity to identify key areas for civil society organizations and media engagement to encourage collaboration between stakeholders, strengthening transparency, accountability, and anti-corruption efforts. BCN News spoke to one of the attendees, Lavea Amanaki Puheke of Tamako Tonga, who explained what corruption meant to him. He personally thinks Niue is corruption-free.
Corruption to me is a system that's not working how it's supposed to work. It's a system that's been damaged, or it's been changed by people to suit them.
For Sandra Talangi of Makiafu, this was her opinion.
My understanding was when you're told to do something, but you actually do something else. But then they has the same solution in the end.
Information pamphlets were handed out with presentations conducted by the team from the United Nations Office on Drugs, the Criminal Justice Office from Austria, and a UNODC Regional Anti-Corruption Advisor from the Pacific Office. Last week, Niue participated in an implementation review of ANCAC, reaffirming its commitment to combating corruption to both national and regional level. The Niue Crown Office led this initiative with Solicitor General Justin Kamupala. Mersa Takala, BCN News.
That's our show for tonight. If you have a story to share, you can reach out to us on our BCN Facebook page or visit us at the Met Office. A special whakalofa atu to our viewers from across the region and to our partners at Pacifica TV. I'm Moana Makapeluli, Monui nei po.